You guys are watching NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey, and it is time for a 2023 NFL mock draft. We've got rivalry week in college football, and I will make note off the top here that this draft order you see is based on the official NFL draft order. So, do not yell at me, and we'll get to that weigh in here in a moment. Do not yell at me that, oh, your team, you're way too high or too low on this player. It's not what we're doing. Nope. It's based on the official NFL.com draft order. But you can make your predictions off the top here. Who will get the number one pick in the 2023 NFL draft? Sound off. Make those predictions for me in the comment section. Make no mistake, the Texans are your favorite. And it's the Texans who we begin with here. At number one, I've got them, once again, taking Bryce Young, the quarterback out of Alabama. He is undersized. I think he is a better player right now than C.J. Stroud is, who's number two out of Ohio State. I wish Bryce Young had C.J. Stroud's body. I think that would make him the consensus number one QB in this year's class. Those two will go back and forth, I'm sure, around the draft community and whatnot there. I like Bryce Young more. Not everyone will agree. QBs go 1 and 2 because those two teams badly need quarterbacks. At number 3 overall, Will Anderson going to the Chicago Bears here. You can go Jalen Carter if you wanted to. I think Anderson's a better fit for a team that in general needs front four help. You could maybe look towards the offensive line as well. I like what we have here in terms of the Anderson at number 3 and Jalen Carter number 4 here to the Las Vegas Raiders. These are generally viewed as the big 4 prospects this year, although we'll see stuff change. We always do every NFL draft cycle. Carter gives the Raiders an impact 3 technique. Anderson gives the Bears a dynamic edge rusher. I like what they have from that standpoint. Number 5, Myles Murphy, the Clemson edge to the Seattle Seahawks. They'll play some 3-4, some 4-3, get them an impact pass rusher, helps take that defense to a new level. This would have been quarterback, but Geno Smith played really well, so why go about it there? We will talk about Will Levis later. I can't get on board with Will Levis in the top 10. And you know what? And I'm trying to do what the NFL will do. Maybe the NFL will feel differently, and if they do, okay. But he just hasn't been good at Kentucky this year. Instead, Brian Brzee doesn't have elite production, but has the traits at defensive tackle, and we've seen that player go super early in recent years. Him and Aleem McNeil at defensive tackle, that's a really good 1-2 punch. The Lions, who still need some defensive help. Who is your favorite, not best, but favorite NFL draft prospect? Let me know in the comment section who you like the most among all this year's draft prospects. It's the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, cool. Take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Keely Ringo, number 7 from Georgia to the Jacksonville Jags. Outside of Tyson Campbell, I'm not sure just how many of the Jags corners will be back. Why not pair 2 Georgia guys to help build out that defense? I would love a receiver, even with Calvin Ridley coming aboard. I just don't know if the Jags are going to invest that premium pick in what's not a great, at least for me, wide receiver class. Number 8, the Houston Texans here. I will make note that this pick is via the Browns, the Seahawks and Lions are their picks from the Broncos and Rams. Olu Fashanu, the offensive tackle from Penn State. I'm a huge fan of him, where he's young. He's 19 right now. Doesn't turn 20 until later on. He's super young, very talented. Great year for Penn State, minus a couple mistakes. But you want a potential future left tackle with some uncertainty around Laramie Tunsil and, of course, some right tackle issues. Olu Fashanu helps protect Bryce Young, which you got to do. Peter Skoronski, number 9 overall, at a 2 Pitt out of Northwestern. His arm length will be a red flag. It's going to be smaller than Rashawn Slater. Could play him at left tackle, left guard. Either way, I think he's going to be a very good NFL player. Tyree Wilson already declared out for the year, and I should say out for the final games, including bowl game, with an injury. He has been highly productive, and although you're thinking Texas Tech pass rusher, yes, he is an outlier from that standpoint. Tyree Wilson is a baller. Robert Quinn's not going to be back. They'll make some changes at defensive end, defensive line. They love to add pass rushing talent. Here's your long-term Brandon Graham replacement. Wilson can kick inside some on third downs too. If you're not familiar with this name, get familiar. He's going to be a very high pick. Now, who here likes steak? I would assume that most people like steak. Not well done. You're a crazy person. If you like steak, type in Y for yes. If you don't, type in N for no in the comments section. And while you're down there, make sure you click the link of butcherbox.com/NFL daily. This Black Friday, ButcherBox is offering our listeners one of their best steak deals. Get 2 10-ounce ribeyes for free in every box for a whole year when you join, plus an additional $10 off. Sign up today at butcherbox.com/NFL daily and use code NFL daily. That is free ribeyes for a year plus $10 off at butcherbox.com/NFL daily and use code NFL daily. They take the guesswork out of finding high quality meat and seafood you can trust. Free shipping to the continental U.S. and no surprise fee. It's a high quality cuts that are hard to come by at the grocery store. I've made some fire burgers, some steaks. Their bacon's delicious. I love it. My daughter, baby Olivia, who's now a year old, she loves it as well. It's the best steak deal they're offer. Or I should say one of their best steak deals they're offer. 2 10-ounce ribeyes for free in every box for a year when you join, plus an additional $10 off. butcherbox.com/NFL daily. Use code NFL daily. Links in the comments section and in the description. Number 11, Bijan Robinson, which producer Coop loves because he is a very talented and dynamic running back who's been wildly productive. Not a massive workload for Arizona either. Yes, you're thinking the Cardinals just paid James Conner. They can, if they want to, find a way out of that deal. And I'll also make this note, even though maybe offensive line's a concern too. James Conner is elite at getting those short touchdown runs. He's averaging 3.7 yards per carry the past 2 years. That's not good, guys. That's not good. So I would not be shocked if James Conner gets cut and Bijan ends up in Arizona. Tight end Michael Mayers. We got 2 non-premium positions going early here, but I love both these prospects. And I have a tough time figuring out where they'll go because it's non-premium positions. Bijan 11, Michael Mayer number 12. He's not the athlete Kyle Pitts is, but he consistently gets open. He'd be a great fit in Green Bay if whoever their quarterback is. Joey Porter Jr. to the Lions here at number 13. Yes, that is Joey Porter Sr.'s son, the former Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker. Long, lanky corner, good athlete too. I'm a big fan of what Joey Porter offers. And then Paris Johnson here out of Ohio State. The Colts have the highest paid offensive line. They sure ain't played like it, and I don't want to give them Will Levis. I want to keep things fresh from our last mock draft. Also, I don't like Will Levis that much. Johnson at left tackle slots in immediately and forms a very potent duo with Quentin Nelson if he can get back on track a little bit more. One of the more intriguing where will he go prospects is Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith coming off the injury, not elite production, but he's a great athlete. He'd be a perfect fit with the Falcons, opposite Arnold Ebiketie long term, and some other edges they have there. I want more defensive help there for the Falcons. I like Nolan Smith a lot, the edge rusher out of Georgia, and you keep him in state for the Falcons, who are in a decent position to build a bit slower as they continue to take their time revamping that roster. The Chargers get Jordan Addison out of USC. I'd love to have Addison and Palmer and Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, who I wonder how much longer Allen will be there with some injury concerns there. Addison gets to stay in L.A. He'd be a great fit with Justin Herbert, and I'm trying to make that offense a little bit better, even though it's the play caller's fault, I think. Number 17, Will Levis, the quarterback from Kentucky. I do not love Will Levis. There's a lot of, concerns I have with just he has the arm and the athletic ability, but it's everything else, the footwork, the mechanics, the consistency on throws. It's not there. Now, teams will talk themselves into, I can get Josh Allen. I can make him into Josh Allen. And the problem is that those guys don't always pan out, and more often than not, they do not. Somebody will gamble on Will Levis, and the Commanders are still searching for that franchise, as they have been for a very, very long time. I've got 3 QBs in this round 1 mock draft. I think that's a good over-under to set because I think there will be 3. 4, I'm not so sure on. Over or under, 3.5 QBs taken in the first round. Type in O for over, U for under. I'll pick up the pace a little bit here. Broderick Jones out of Georgia. He goes to the Jets because they don't trust Mekhi Becton. There's a new offensive tackle. With some free agents coming at cornerback, I'm going to give Cam Smith from South Carolina to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's what they tend to like to do under Todd Bowles. They can save some money at corner and draft a replacement. And another offensive tackle, DeJuan Jones, the right tackle from Ohio State. I was worried about this offensive line class. They've come along quite nicely. Jones slots in over Cam Fleming and others at right tackle to help protect Russell Wilson because he's not going anywhere. We'll have the best 2023 NFL draft coverage on YouTube. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. YouTube.com/@chatsports. Free videos on the NFL and more every single day when you sub for free. Trenton Simpson from Clemson. No, he's not Micah Parsons. Nobody is outside of Von Miller. But he is a very talented linebacker who can help that front seven continue to grow and pair with Jordan Brooks. Maybe the Patriots cut Devontae Parker. If so, here's your replacement. Quentin Johnston. I call him Skinny Dez. Not quite as thick, but a bit taller than Dez Bryant was, but offers some really good after-the-catch tackle-breaking stuff, contested catches. I'm a big fan of Johnston, who, when it's all said and done, who got a long way to go still, might be my wide receiver one in this class. I think Osiris Torrance is best at right guard, but the Bengals aren't afraid to draft right guard style players and play him opposite side. For example, Jackson Carman, who is, of course, left tackle at Clemson. Torrance helps the offensive line, which still needs to be figured out for the Bengals. Keep protecting your soon-to-be very highly paid investment in Joe Burrow. Number 24, Brian Branch out of Alabama goes to the Bills. They've got some free agents at safety. Branch can do some versatile role things to fit in quite nicely in Buffalo. The Ravens take Jackson Smith-Njigba. He might be more of a slot in the NFL, but that hasn't steered the way we've taken the types of players before. Got to get Rashad Bateman healthy. JSN and Bateman, though, is a fun 1-2 punch. I'm keeping it local for the Titans. This is for you guys here. Yeah, you're going to have Treylon Burks as one of your key guys. How about Jalen Hyatt as your speedy receiver, which they don't have that type of speed right now in that room at wide receiver outside of Racey McMath, who hasn't been that great in the end. I got Jalen Hyatt, staying local, the speedy Will Fuller style pick at number 26. A name that I might be higher on than most is Jalen Jones, the cornerback from Texas A&M. He has allowed 8 catches all year long, has allowed no touchdowns. Of course, the ball production's not there because he's been targeted 14 times all year, something like 80 yards allowed through the air as well. Under the radar player, fits the prototype typically of Dan Quinn, and they don't really trust Kelvin Joseph right now. I don't know where Kayshon Boutte will go in this upcoming draft class. Giants might get visions of Kadarius Toney, good and bad, with this selection, but they desperately need wide receiver help, so I got Boutte there at number 28. Jared Verse, since Danielle Hunter might not be back in Minnesota, folks, contract's an issue there. If so, Jared Verse, the transfer to FSU, had a nice season, a perfect late round 1 target. Isaiah Foskey at Notre Dame. You want to pair someone opposite George Karlaftis long term. There's your piece. And one of my favorite guys at 31, Clark Phillips III. Remember, the Dolphins have picked number 29 that's been forfeited because of tampering. Clark Phillips might have to be a nickel, but much like Roger McCreary, he's a damn good football player. All right, who do we leave off our 2023 NFL mock draft? There's only 31 spots. Normally there's 32, right? Who do we leave off? You can sound off for me in the comments section as we break down the round 2 and round 3 picks for teams without a first-round pick. Rams here, number 36, to get them some edge help since they're kind of thin there. B.J. Ojulari out of LSU. And then we'll go to Siaki Ika, the Baylor defensive tackle. And that's not what the Browns like to do up front. They don't want to spend premium picks. It's bad at defensive tackle. They have to. Here is a impact nose guard for the Browns. Cedric Tillman, since I question if Michael Thomas will be back with the Saints next year. Jarvis Landry won't be. There's Chris Olave and some question marks. Here's a fun piece in Cedric Tillman. For my boy Will Scott, John Michael Schmitz, the center from Minnesota, has had a very good year. He and Luke Weipler will probably compete to be the first center drafted. And just for James Yoder, Michigan's own Olu, which is the easier way to say his name, the full pronunciation, Olusegun Oluwatime, the Virginia to Michigan transfer, the center. I kind of like him quite a bit. He's there, number 97 overall for the Michigan Wolverines. Oluwatime. Oluwatime. It's a fun name there for Michigan. James just came in there, our Michigan host and boss. Other top prospects to consider here across the board. I got Andre Carter, FAU as a nickname for Kansas State's good edge rusher. Zach Harrison, he'll blow up the combine. Watch, he's gonna test incredibly well. Emmanuel Forbes, the corner, almost was in there at round 1 instead of Jalen Jones. Antonio Johnson, who I like a lot from A&M too. And then offensively, I do not like Tanner McKee that much. I get visions of Davis Mills because long neck Stanford makes sense and also not that good. Jahmyr Gibbs is a very dynamic runner and kind of a third down back mold. I like Josh Downs a lot, but he could go kind of more early round 2. Darnell Washington, and then Anton Harrison, the Oklahoma offensive lineman, also has got some decent buzz from that standpoint. So grade the mock draft for me. I go above and beyond to give you guys teams without a first-round pick, because that's just more fun. Grade it. A, B, C, D, or F. Sound off in the comment section.